This is a place.
This is the place?
This is a place. We want to talk about. This is a place. Welcome to this week's episode of This is a Place podcast. My name is Nate, and with me is a guy who almost didn't record today with me because he's feeling a little Iggy. Brandon.
Yep, I was out partying all the last couple days in preparation for winning in my brackets yesterday.
Which brackets did you participate in?
I was in 4 separate brackets.
Someone is at the front door.
Someone's at the front door, Brandon.
You need to get that?
Hold on. Guarantee it's for Scarlett.
Solar?
Oh. Have I told you my solar story?
Well, I mean, we may as well talk about it right now.
Like, I've been getting phone calls, like, normal, like, hey, have we scheduled your solar consultation? And I just never return them. Then I started getting texts saying, like, oh, you know, the spam text. Then all of a sudden I got like this message from a text from a guy saying, okay, I'll be there tonight at 6. And I was like, okay, this must be spam. And then he like called my phone and said, are we still good for a meeting at 6? I'm like, who is this? I didn't return the call either. And then another call, hey, I'm done with my meeting early. Can I come over a little bit early? So some dude showed up to my house for a solar consultation, which I'd never once talked to anybody about solar. And anyways, I didn't answer the door. I wasn't home at the time. Neither was my wife. And my daughter was outside playing, but they just kind of ignored the dude. So yeah, somebody, probably you, Brandon, you filled out one of those questionnaires to get a free t-shirt.
You got me.
And got your t-shirt, and I had to have somebody come to my house, which I didn't obviously let in. But back to my original question, which brackets did you participate in?
I was in 4 separate brackets. One that you were included in that I invited you to with some buddies. One that was for my work. One for a podcast I listened to. I picked Kansas to win. So
and all of them? Or did you choose the same bracket for all 3?
All of them except for one. If you see that one that we're in together, I accidentally made 2 brackets for that group.
Oh, okay.
And I picked Duke on that one. But my real ones were, I picked Kansas. And
I did want Duke to win.
What is that?
I did want Duke to win it all, but I didn't pick them.
I did too. And I picked them to go to the championship. So I was close. I almost picked the championship. Either way, so in my work one, I took first place. The one I was in with you. And then the podcast one, there were like 140 plus people. And I tied for 3rd place. So not too bad.
Did you win any prizes?
In the podcast, I had to be in first place, I think, to win the prize.
Oh, bummer.
Which was a hockey puck or something like that.
What about the work one?
I don't think I won anything.
What?
Bragging rights, I guess.
That's ridiculous.
I wish I'd win.
Your company has so much money, they could throw you a $25 gift card to Iggy's.
I wish.
They probably will
Worthless.
give you one. Worthless.
I'm really good at this. Not to brag, but I'm going to brag a little.
Okay.
I'm really good at picking my brackets because I've picked the winner multiple times. And when I worked at Macy's back in the day, this is like before my mission, I filled out a bracket and I won a basketball hoop because I took first place.
Oh, nice.
It was one of those kind of ones you see at like an arcade, but for your house. So, yeah.
Cool.
Like
pop a shot things.
Yeah, I think I need to start putting some money on the line since I'm so good at it.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, because you sent me a request. I didn't enter any contest that you could win anything. It was just with you and then with my nephew. But I like filled one out like really quick one day when I got the invite or whatever. And I'm like, I'll go back and really go through it. And then like the day of the tournament came, I thought it was Wednesday when it was actually Thursday. And I'm like, oh, I got time. I have all the day to fill it out or readjust it. And I got home and turned on the TV and I'm like, oh, it started already. So I'm like, yeah, we'll go with it. Then my wife's work had one as well. And I think they paid out the top three. And she kept asking me to fill it out. And I'm like, I don't want to fill it out because then you'd be mad at me when I don't win. So
Lose, yeah.
she did it. She took third, but she tied for third for a prize. And so they did a drawing and she lost the drawing. So she did take third out of her company. And that's pretty good for somebody who doesn't really have any basketball knowledge. And that seems to be the way it goes, is the person who doesn't really know, or they just pick which mascot they think would win.
Hey, what are you saying?
You don't know anything about college basketball.
I
That's what
know a
I'm
little
saying.
bit. I know
I'm just kidding.
a little bit.
You know a little bit. I probably followed a little bit more this year than I have in years past, but it's like usually I don't follow. I'm kind of like in a, what do you call it? Depression state when football ends. I don't really care about basketball. It takes me till about now to start caring about basketball when March Madness rolls around. But by then, I haven't paid attention to what's been going on in college basketball to know enough to pick anything. But I did pay a little bit more attention this year because I thought BYU was going to have a good team and they started off good, which kind of got me hooked early. And then they didn't end up doing as well as I thought they would do.
Yeah, I'm the same as you though, that I don't really follow basketball until around this time of year, but I really get into it come March Madness. And I didn't actually watch. I usually the first 2 days of the tournament, I'll just have it on nonstop in the background, but I
Yeah.
didn't do that this year.
Yeah. Me too. Like it was weird. I didn't have like a huge desire to watch it this year. Normally, like you said, it's kind of like exciting. Even the board of realtors used to do like a 2 day event for the two opening days where just all day long you go down to the board of realtors and eat food and watch all the games. And I do that every year because it's just fun. But this year, I think the first week I watched like 2 games and they weren't even the full games. It was just like, oh, I
Yeah,
saw
parts
like
of it.
I turned on Comcast and hit the sports button to see what sports were going on. And if there's a close game, I'd watch it. But yeah, I wasn't as excited for March Madness this year as I have been in years past. And you've said the same. I've had a few other friends say the same. So I wonder if it's just COVID brain we have and we just don't care as much, or I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean it could be a number of things, but either way, it still gets me excited for basketball. I've been playing a lot of Smash Brothers lately, so I put that away last night and started playing some 2K
Yeah.
because I'm just in the basketball spirit these days.
Well, when we used to play basketball in the mornings and sometimes at nights, did you ever notice that around March we had the biggest participation? Like
I think so. Yeah.
everybody gets the bug, obviously, because you're watching basketball for like 2 weeks straight, and so you want to play. So, but we're not playing right now. Maybe we need to change that.
We need to capitalize on this momentum that we're all feeling right now.
We should.
The worst part is usually what I would do for the national championship or any of the games. I'd go down to my favorite sports bar, my favorite restaurant.
D's.
D's?
D's? Denny's.
Not D's or Denny's. No,
Applebee's?
not Applebee's. It was a Utah-based company called Iggy's, and I just can't do that anymore.
It's interesting. Last night I had a pickleball match and we were playing during the national championship game. And me and my partner buddy, one of our fellow basketball buddies, were talking about watching games. And he says, man, I wish this place was still around because I used to love going over there to watch games. He said, I love to go to Iggy's to watch games. And I go, that's so funny you mentioned that because that's what we're talking about tomorrow on our podcast. So it must be the universe telling us that we need to do this episode this week. So I'll tell you my fondest memory, but you tell me yours first.
I lied. I never watched a NCAA basketball game at Iggy's, but I did. One of my fondest Iggy's memories was on St. Patrick's Day many, many years ago. We were there for dinner. I think my dad was out of town, so it was me, my mom, and my brother. I want to say the Jazz were playing the Celtics.
Was that when the Celtics were relevant and
Yeah,
like the
yeah, they
best
were more
season ever?
relevant.
Well, I just remember one year they had only lost like 3 games, like halfway through the season. They were like the year they won the championship, I believe. And I had tickets to that Jazz game. And then walking into the stadium, somebody offered me like $200 a ticket. I said, sold. We sold this before we got in the stadium and left.
There was something about being there, watching the Jazz play the Green, and I mean, I obviously didn't have any green beer, but a lot of people there were drinking green beer. I think they did give me a green Sprite or something like that, and a nice big meatball sandwich. So yeah, I always kind of go back to that and wish I could recreate that memory in a way that I could go back to Iggy's on St. Patrick's Day and watch a game or something. I wouldn't say Iggy's was a place I went to very frequently. We went there, every once in a while. It was just something different to do. And we went to the one in Jordan Landing, and they had a big fire pit out there. It was always nice on a cold day, hang out. Yeah, and then just out of nowhere, just disappeared. And we'll talk a little bit more about
We'll
that.
talk about that.
We need to hear your Iggy's memory or memories.
So I've been to Iggy's so many times. I couldn't count how many times. But it all started back in about when my wife and I first got married. So 18 years ago. I had a lot of contacts back then. People had Jazz tickets, and somebody gave me one of their Jazz tickets to the opening game of that season. So it was probably 17 years ago. And for that opening game, they had a bigger than normal ticket for that game. I think it's just kind of like, hey, welcome back to the Jazz. Like it was a pretty big ticket. And on the back was a buy one, get one free to Iggy's. And you know how I love coupons. And we were sitting in the lower bowl that game, and a lot of people in lower bowl could care less about a coupon on the back of a ticket. So this was back when they actually gave you a physical ticket, not digital. So everyone just kind of threw them on the floor. So at the end of the game, I told my wife to go one way and I went the other way around the arena, and we just gathered up as many tickets as we could. I think we ended up with close to about 80 buy one, get one free tickets to Iggy's. And they lasted through the whole, I think they expired in the end of the year. So we had almost like a whole year to use them. And we lived when Iggy's was open, relatively close to Iggy's. So we would go there at least once a week for like a year. And then we had so many extra coupons we started giving to friends, or I would go with some of my friends after hockey games to go to Iggy's. So we went there all the time. The only downside to Iggy's is the fact that they do have it's a pro and a con. They do have all those big screens, those projection screens that were over by the bar area for the game. So you can see the game almost anywhere you were sitting in the restaurant. And then top of that, I think they had extra TVs and stuff like that, right? Showing the games.
Right.
But they kind of, being like a sports bar, they want you to come watch the whole game and hang out. So if you're going there to eat and there's a big game on,
good luck.
It would be like a 2-3 hour wait, because you have to wait till the game's over, because no one's giving up their table, right? Or their seat. They're just gonna stay and watch the game. Like I remember for my birthday, my dad wanted to take us to dinner, and he's like, let's go to Iggy's. And it was the night of the USC Texas National Football Championship game. And we went over there and they're like, yeah, it's like a 3-hour wait. So we went like across the sidewalk, I guess you could say, to what was it called? Ruby Tuesdays at the time. And it's now Black Bear Diner. And they had like nobody in there. So, but Iggy's 3-hour wait compared to nothing across the way. But so it's a pro and a con. If you get there early for a good game, like if you're either going to watch a Jazz game, you're usually pretty safe, right? Going over there and hanging out and watching the Jazz game. But if it was a big event, like last night would have been crowded if they were open to watch the basketball championship. So yeah, so that's kind of my fond memories of Iggy's was during that time. And then after those tickets kind of wore off, we didn't go very much, obviously, because didn't have the coupons anymore, right? Had to go to other places that had coupons. And I remember a few years later, we went back and kind of thing my go-to was like they had like a big burger. I forget what they called it, Iggy burger. I think that's just what it was. And it was a pretty decent sized hamburger. It was pretty big. And I remember going in there with my wife like a year or two after, and I ordered the same burger I always got, and they bring it out, and it looked like it was the junior deluxe burger from Wendy's. Like it was pretty dang small. And I thought, oh crap, she must have heard me wrong. I ordered the wrong hamburger or something like that. And the waitress comes over and I said, I think I might have said it wrong, or you brought out she goes, no, that's the Iggy burger or whatever. I'm like, this is it. So instead of raising prices, they just cut the amount of product they gave to keep the prices the same. And I think that was kind of probably, in my opinion, the beginning of the downfall of Iggy's, because it seems like they went downhill pretty quickly after that.
Was it just the big burger? Is that what it was called?
Maybe it was pretty big.
Economical for being a huge burger.
Yeah.
$6.95 at the
Well, it's
menu I'm
probably
looking at.
again, it's probably my fault because I used all those buy one get one free, so they didn't make any money for that
You
whole
really
year.
put them out of business, honestly.
Anytime somebody has a deal, Nate takes advantage of it and takes them out of business. So but one fun thing about Iggy's too is just like the variety of menu items, right? They were
Yeah.
kind of like Cheesecake Factory in that aspect. They just have
I think
so
you
many
have
options.
pasta, burgers, a little bit of
Pizza,
everything.
just a lot of everything.
Yeah,
So
looking on here, I think I would get either the chicken cordon bleu sandwich or I would get the meatball sandwich. Those are my favorites. What what is comparable to them these days other than just a bar? I don't think there's anything. I mean, Buffalo Wild Wings, but that's a national chain. I don't think anything's coming to really replace
I
them.
haven't been there yet, and maybe we should do an episode on it. But I want to say they overtook one of the Iggy's, the one in Sandy off 106 and I-15, and I think it's called Legends
Okay,
Sports
Legends
Bar,
Grill.
Legends Grill. So, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't Iggy's before. So I remember going to that Iggy's
I'd say like About
before.
Time too, but that's more of a
I've never
pub.
been to About Time.
I haven't either. But yeah, for sports, that's kind of what I would think of for going and watching a game and having some food. I mean, of course, as I said, there's bars you could go to or one of the national chains.
Yeah, but it's always fun to go to a non-national chain, right? To kind of get that mama papa feel.
Yeah, for sure. Did you ever have the Iggy's tin lid?
What is it?
For 17.95, you could get a combination of Iggy's favorites: coconut shrimp, hot wings, Southwest egg rolls, chicken balls, and onion straw, probably onion straws and onion rings. Looks to be the most expensive thing on the menu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I've had it before, but I can't confirm or deny it. Well, do you have any idea how Iggy's even came to be?
I have a little bit of an idea. I found this obscure website talking about it. I mean, this isn't off of Wikipedia, so it's not 100% true. But it says that Iggy's was founded in 1996 by 42-year veteran Hirsch Epachian. Iggy's accompanies its 10-page casual dining menu with televised professional sports. Entrees priced from $5.95 to $17.95, as I noted the $17.95 being the most expensive on the list. Range from burgers, pizzas, and enchiladas to ribeye steaks and prime rib. House-made root beer and lemonade supplement the full bar menu as the chain embarks on its second dozen units, adding Idaho to Utah. A lighter menu section of smaller portions for smaller prices is a new addition. So it sounds like started in Utah, then they added some Idaho locations. So I guess that's how it began. I don't know any more about Hirsch. Maybe I should Google his name. That might yield some results. Hirsch passed away in 2015, which I think is kind of when Iggy started going away.
2015. Say that date again.
He passed away on December 6, 2015.
December 6th. I think it was March of 2015 when Leighton, I think, was the first one to close, and that closed before everybody else.
Right.
So I wonder if, like, that's a good rumor to start. Maybe the owner was sick and just needed to shut things down. But even though I loved Iggy's and it kind of frustrated me towards the end when they had the smaller portions, one thing I'm not super happy about is the way they did end things. So I think it's kind of a jerk move the way
Oh yeah.
they would just basically put a sign up on the door saying we're closed and not even tell their employees that they were closing. And a lot of the articles that I read, and it's what I suspected anyways, is when you work in that industry, you usually don't have a surplus of money, right? So you need that job to make ends meet. And it's okay if you give notice to your employees saying, hey, we're closing down at this date, right?
Right.
Like a lot of restaurants do, but they would just, like, so many employees would think it was a joke that they would just show up to work, or their friends say, hey, Iggy's closed. And they're like, yeah, come on, whatever. Like, they would have told us, but they just showed up to work and there was a sign on the door saying, sorry, we're no longer open.
It
Just,
happens way too much in the restaurant industry.
yeah, it does. I mean, it's unfortunate.
Training table, same story.
Train table, it's a national chain, but I believe Village Inn did the same thing.
Kind of, yeah.
um so there's no law against doing that, but from an ethical standpoint, I think it's kind of a jerk move to, I mean, I can understand from looking from the owner's perspective saying, well, if I tell my employees that, hey man, we're closing in 2 weeks or whatever it may be, they might not even show up to work anymore because they'll just go get another job and start working there, and then I can't fill my staff. So I understand that viewpoint, but at the same time, it's unfortunate for the people who count on that money to pay their bills that month. And I mean, I don't know how long it would take them to rebound during that economic time frame. Nowadays, you can get a job almost anywhere because nobody has any employees. So I wouldn't feel as bad if they closed down today, but just
Yeah,
unfortunate the way they handled things.
you might have looked at the same article, or at least read the highlights of the one that I
The
read
headline,
through
yes, yeah,
about the Layton location when it closed. And it was just one day they were open, and the next day the signage was stripped down, signs on the doors saying, "Hey, we're closed." And as you noted, that was in March of 2015 when they closed the Layton location.
either the news station or whoever wrote the article says we reached out to corporate for comment and never heard back. So I don't think anybody really knows besides them why they closed their doors, right?
Yeah, I don't know why some companies just feel the need to show that they had no loyalty to their employees at all, you know?
Right.
There was another article I had to read most of the article to get through it, but it's from the Tribune talking about just why businesses close, why restaurants close. In this article, they specifically called out Iggy's. Oftentimes, when restaurants shut down in a rush, cooks, hosts, and waitstaff get blinded, left without jobs, and often still owed paychecks. And that's the other part. People have worked, and then they don't get paid for, let's say, 2 weeks of them working.
Right.
That's what happened to the former employees of Iggy Sports Grill in Centerville in May, when the eatery suddenly went dark, according to a lawsuit in Second District Court in Davis. More than 24 ex-employees are listed on the suit that alleges the owners owe them back pay, as well as money for accrued vacation and fees they incurred when paychecks bounced. So, in the end, I mean, wish that things didn't go down the way they did with Iggy's, but
Yeah, it's kind of like I said, unfortunate because such good experiences prior to that, right? And then the way they finished can put a bad taste in your mouth. Pun intended. Just kidding.
yeah, so I think officially, I mean, there was that one in Layton, but it wasn't until May of 2019 when all Iggy's were officially closed, and there was no press, no big announcement. It just kind of they went dark. We need to find a new place to watch the national championship next year, Nate.
Well, we might have to go check out Legends.
We'll go to Legends. maybe about time. If you guys have any recommendations of places for us to check out, we're happy to hear them. Maybe next year we can have a This Is a Place podcast bracket.
Ooh,
I don't
we can give out an Iggy's gift certificate to the winner.
know. Or one of the other places that you shut down by exploiting their deals.
Yeah, Blockbuster,
Blockbuster.
Albertsons, Sears. Sears. Actually, I saw a clip on Facebook today. I think there's still a Sears open in California,
Really?
but the guy's like walking through with his phone showing, like, he's like, are they going to survive? Because there was like no inventory and all that stuff. But I thought they were completely done.
Well, how did you take advantage of Blockbuster back in the day?
How did I? Because they kept doing this deal, like you buy the new DVD coming out for like $20 and you got like, I can't remember how many free rentals. So they would basically lose money. I think they were hoping that you wouldn't bring it back and you pay the late fees. But anyways, I don't think I took them under Netflix, obviously. Actually, Redbox, I think, was probably the beginning of that, and then Netflix took them down.
There was 2 summers that we had a Blockbuster pass where we could go and get a new movie every single day.
Yeah, I think that was on too. Yeah, yeah.
That was so awesome. That was the greatest summer.
I remember that. And I think my youngest, Rocky, was, I mean, oldest, not youngest. They had like a kids pass as well. And we did that too. Like over there by the Harmons, we went to that
Yep.
Blockbuster all the time.
It's now a Great Clips.
I think so. But that should have been the beginning of the sign, right? Or the sign that it was coming.
Yeah.
But
There's always writing on the wall. You just have to see it. The best way to figure out if something's going to go down is ask Nate if there's a really good deal, and if he is using it over and over again, you can be rest assured.
well, it has to be one of those deals you're like, is this too good to be true? Like, how are they making money? And you figure out, like, oh yeah, they're not.
It
making
is
money.
too good to be true, and they have now shut down. You got any on your radar right now for the listeners?
No, I heard a rumor though that they're gonna be opening up a lot more Big Lot stores,
Really?
and they're closing a lot of CVS or something like that. But I'm like, was that a headline just trying to get me to read it, and I didn't read it? Yeah, and I didn't do it. But Big Lots is one of my favorite stores now.
I never go to Big Lots.
I did until they started doing the rewards program.
That's another thing. If you don't have a good app or rewards program, what are you doing? That's what everybody wants these days.
If you're a store or whatever.
Yeah. I'll go to places and wonder, do they have some kind of app? If they don't, I probably won't go back. Because there's no rewards I can accumulate towards something free. Which reminds me, I'm super pissed off at Krispy Kreme. It took me like 3 years to get a free dozen donuts. Just, going every once in a while because it was so far away in Sandy. I mean, we have one in West Valley now, which is nice. But all that time I spent building up to that free dozen, when I finally got the free dozen, they gave me a month to use it, and I didn't use it in time, and it got expired.
Oh man.
Like, how is that fair?
I know. Yeah, I hate stuff like that. Like, we'll give you 2 days to redeem it. You're like, what?
Yeah, I went into the new one in West Valley, and I'm like looking for it. I'm like, where's my free one?
Oh, is it open now?
It is open, yeah. I look back and I've got an email saying it expired, like, it's going to expire soon, so make sure you use it. I'm like, it took me 3 years to do this.
Yeah.
Give me like a month to use it?
That's ridiculous. Well, there's a mechanic shop over in Kearns that I like to go to, and they have like a punch card, like get your 5th oil change free. And I went the other day, and as my 5th one, so my next one should be free. And like, oh, we just discontinued that like 2 months ago. I'm like, what? Same thing. Like,
Come on.
I spent like 2 years getting my oil changes, and then I'm like, whatever. It is what it is. But
It's like that Seinfeld when Elaine has the punch card for the subs, and she just keeps eating the nasty subs because she has to.
And then she loses the card, right?
Yeah. I can't remember what happens. I think she loses it or George loses it or something happens, but I want that free crappy sub.
Well, my thought is, from a being cool standpoint is just don't hand out any more cards. And then when they're gone and people stop, you know what I mean? If somebody brings it in, like I will give props to Holiday Oil, right? They did this coupon book like not last Christmas or the Christmas before, where you could get like 50 car washes for I think $100 or something. It was really cheap.
Yeah.
Ended up being like $1 or $2, and it's their premium wash, like the $12 wash, right? So you get like 50 washes. And I just didn't use enough of them. So it came like not January, like end of December 31st or something. I ran around to a few Holiday Oils to use the rest of my coupons for a year.
Just like all in one day.
No, listen. So when you redeem the coupon, they give you a receipt, and then it has like an expiration date. So if you buy a car wash today, you don't have to use today. And so a lot of them were doing like, so even though it was December, they were saying you didn't have to use it till like end of March or beginning of March. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna go and then get they don't expire. So I think I got 6 from different locations, because I don't want to look stupid walking in going, hey, can I get 20 car washes? Then I went to the one on 62nd and 3200 West, and I think one of the corporate ladies was there. And I walk in and I'm like, hey, can I get a car wash? And she goes, our machine's broken today. So no. I said, well, I'm just trying to use this coupon before it expires. And she's like, it never technically expires. We'll honor it even if it's like 5 years expired. And I'm like, what? Like, why didn't you tell me this? Why didn't I come to you first? Right. So props to Holiday Oil. So I still have like 4 or 5 car wash coupons that I can still use, because they're just like, we'll honor it anytime. I'm like, now that's a company Nate can stand behind. Company that's willing to lose money.
Right.
Because Nate goes there. So
yeah, I took a survey for them probably 6 months ago to get a free car wash, and I think I got 2 free car washes. I'm still waiting to use the other one.
Well, I think I do too. Yeah. Was it in their app?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I got it too. I got to see if I can find that code.
Which I will say, they have 2 separate apps. They have an app for car washes and an app for the, for the store or whatever.
Well, right.
I think it's silly, but
it is. It's 7-Eleven now. Same thing, has 2 apps, right? Yeah. Here you are saying you have to have an app, and then there's stores that have multiple apps.
Okay, that's too much. I just want one app.
One
place.
Let's keep it simple, guys.
Yeah, so that's our episode on the Holiday Oil and
Iggy's and Blockbuster,
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
We need to have an episode where we just talk about all the
deals,
things that don't merit a whole episode.
Yeah, we should just have an episode called we'll call it Tangent.
Tangent? Isn't that every episode?
We'll just have yeah, but there'll be no subject, and we'll see what rabbit hole we can go down, or how many rabbit holes we can go down. Rather
than name the episodes, I should just name them Tangent Episode 109.
Which is change the name of 10. Our
This is a tangent.
This is a tangent.
I like the idea. Please let us know what your thoughts are on the changing of our name and whether it should be or not.
This is a ... squirrel or something like that.
Yeah.
Or we can call it Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole?
Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole the podcast.
Rabbit Hole the podcast.
Thank you for listening to This is a Tangent.
Wait, I got one more. Just kidding. Just kidding. See you next week.